Well, hello, friends and neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome to the Whiskey Nook. I have a lot of open bottles I need to talk to you guys, but I also have some samples. I've either met with or exchanged through mail samples with a few very kind folk, and it's about time that I talk about a few of them. So I'm going to go to, I don't know if it's Food Quick or somebody talked about Sunday samples, and I'm going to try to stick to that maybe in the next few Sundays. So today, I'm going to talk about two samples, both from Dana. Thank you very much, sir. This one is Dillon's Rye, 3 Oaks. It's an Ontario rye. And the other sample will be Pike Creek 15-year-old, finished in Canadian Sauvignon barrels. I think it's Sauvignon, or yeah, Cabernet Sauvignon. Anyways, so when we get back, because I like to hold these up, maybe you can read them, I don't know, but we'll talk some samples. These will be 2 samples from Dana. Thank you. 3, 4. Thanks for staying with me. As I said in the opener, I've got a few little jars of whiskey that people have generously shared with me, and I'd like to share a few thoughts. Of course, since this is the entire sample poured out, it's a first taste, and sadly, it'll be a last taste, and it's not really a review, but might give you an idea of what the whiskey, kind of the ballpark that the whiskey tastes at. So the first one is going to be Dillon's Rye, Dillon's 3 Oak Rye. This is an Ontario rye. They're proud of their farm to glass, so I know it's all very much local grain. As I understand it, this is young. It's not colored. I don't know if it's chill filtered. It's released at 43%. For a grain, it is a nice pure rye. It's 90% unmalted rye and 10% malted rye. Kind of reminds me of Lot 40 2012 edition that was 5% malted, I think, and 95. Or was it 90 and 10? I'll have to look that up. The 3 Oak here is, they do it in parts. So I think 7 parts is first fill ex-bourbon. And then 3 parts would be in new charred American oak. And 1 part is new charred Ontario, Canadian oak. So that's pretty cool. All rye, and then the different styles of oak. I understand that it's fairly young, really kind of around that 3 year. So let's see what the rye tells us. Bright, light citrus, lemon, herb, grass. I'm not getting any dill. Maybe even a tiny wisp of anise. But, you know, lemongrass, light fruit, little sharp. Not a lot of spice or cracked pepper on the nose. Instead, now, yeah, lemon drop, honey. The rye part comes off with that little bit of a grass note for me. And that little bit of anise, little bit of like really light licorice. Yeah, interesting nose. See how it tastes. Cheers. Palate extends what I was getting. Lemon drop candy. Little bit of light toffee. The oak I expected to be quite a bit stronger. It's totally there right at the end of the palate. Probably will come out again in the second sip, but I thought it might be even woody. It sounded like a lot of different styles of wood going on, but really, yeah, it's tasting like a little bit of a sharper Canadian whiskey. Better give them a try. That plays nice in the mouth. It coats. It's bright, fresh, light toffee again, like a little caramel toffee. Finally, I'm getting some spice now in the mid finish. Finish is pretty decent. I'd say it's playing into its strengths. Dries a little bit. Tastes like more, and I'm getting oak, and I'm finally getting some cracked pepper, which I like in a rye, kind of a spicy, and a little bit of a hug. I like this rye. I'll say, Dana, I've never had it in my house, but I was in Ontario last year, and I ordered it just like one shot kind of thing, like one pour in a restaurant, and I don't have a lot of notes from that one tasting, so I'm glad I'm able to spend a bit of time with it here. I'm surprised at the amount of sugared honey lemon drop candy I'm getting out of it, but I like it. It is a little sharp, little bit acid sharp, like sour candy sharp. Yeah, I wouldn't rate it. It's just not enough here, but it's nice. I think I'd be willing to have a bottle of that. It's a little bit sharp and a little bit astringent, but that's just early taste. Sample number 1. Really glad I got to try that. Sample number 2. Going to clear my palate, and we're going to talk about Pike Creek 15-year-old, available only in Ontario. Anybody in the Corby line? Dr. Don? Stop releasing special releases. Or release them ahead of time in a unique place and then let us all try them. Because you make good whiskey, and it's so frustrating when something like the Dark Oak comes out only in BC and then only in Ontario. And what about us poor Albertans? Anyways, this is an Ontario-only release. So again, thank you, Dana, for getting me a sample, because I certainly can't buy it here. As I understand it, it is Pike Creek, which is a fair amount of corn, but it's got a bit of barley and rye in it. And it's known for longer aging. And lately, with the special Northern Border releases that I guess we're not going to see this year, they're also known for finishing. The regular Pike Creek finished in rum. And then, of course, the last 3 years, we've seen the 21-year-old in Speyside, in European Oak, and in, I was going to say Cabernet. No, Oloroso. Got mixed up. This one, the 21-year-old, finished in Oloroso, ex-Oloroso casks. So this is 15 years, a little younger, finished in ex-Cabernet Sauvignon barrels from Ontario, I believe. Released at 42%. Now, I'd like to think it's natural color. You can see all the very natural woods. Here, now we're in a wine cask, so I like to think it's natural color. I have no confirmation of that. So it could be that they just colored it, so it looks good. Let's see what the whiskey says. What a contrast. This is now mellow, even though very similar percent. Sweet, grape, brown sugar, molasses, maybe not molasses, butter tart, so maple syrup and cooked in a graham cracker. Ooh. And that wine comes right back. A lot of wine notes on the nose. Very curious to see how this one tastes. Cheers. Wow. Quite strong in two directions. The coating, buttery, brown sugar, cooked tart seems strong right away. Almost like I felt it. I'm going into a dessert. But really strong wine, red, grape, wine notes. Just wow. And they are in a battle. Better have another sip. Brought a little depth, a little cinnamons, little oak. Yeah, definitely cinnamons now, or a little bit of spicing. It's perking up. It's definitely getting a bit of a life on my tongue now. Still very coating. The cinnamon, oak, and red tannins are now coming out more. The butter is fading away. Definitely now I get it more rye spice in terms of that sitting on your tongue, and then your tongue is going like, okay, yeah, okay, like we just had some cracked pepper or something that's just a little spicy. Actually getting quite a bit of spice there. Very interesting. Yep. There's still a fair amount of brown sugar in there for me. It's quite sweet. And a ton of wine notes. A ton. A huge amount of wine. These are not to be compared. But I'm curious because this is 100% rye. I expected this to be cinnamon and cracked pepper and really huggy, bitey. It's not. That nose, just in comparison, was like a really young Speyside Scotch, almost bright lemon, green apple. No, but then there's definitely a grassy note where I think you'd really know, no, it's rye. Wild. Yeah. Oh, and there's quite a bit of grass. Okay. And a little bit of youth astringency came out in that sip, like quite a bit. Can't rate these, and they're very different, and I think they'd have quite a different appeal. Surprised how much spice came out on this Pike Creek 15, and a really rich flavor taste. It's fairly sweet, quite a bit sweeter than this Dillon rye, and really heavy on the wine influence. If you don't like wine finishes, this is not the dram for you. But if you like them, this is, in my opinion, like a creamier, better balanced 99 ice cask. It's pretty similar, actually. Interesting. Well, those are a couple of samples. We'll see how the day goes. Maybe Sample Sunday we'll have a round two. But thanks again, Dana, for meeting me and for handing off these samples. Great drams, great experience. And I hope you guys have had a great Sunday and that you have a great week. Take care.